So in this letter, we're going to in this letter in this segment, we're going to be talking about a letter written by the signed by the MLAs in Stormont, or that were elected to Stormont, talking about their issues with Johnson's actions. I've had to copy the letter across to a Word document because I can't zoom in properly because Twitter. So the letter, it goes as: Dear Prime Minister, our parties collectively represent a majority inside the Northern Ireland Assembly and received a majority of votes cast in the recent Assembly election, which is true, the vast majority of them do support the protocol. We reject in the strongest possible terms your government's reckless new protocol legislation, which flies in the face of the express wishes of not just most businesses but also people in Northern Ireland. I mean, the government are going to argue that the protocol needs cross-community consent, which isn't true, but clearly the people in Northern Ireland are, on the most part, okay with the protocol. Yes, that kind of goes against cross-community consent, but what the government are doing is very undemocratic for lots of reasons. The protocol is itself a product of the hard Brexit you personally championed and a withdrawal deal you personally signed, which is true. Johnson did push these and said these were great things for Northern Ireland. Whilst not ideal, the protocol currently represents the only available protections for Northern Ireland from the worst impacts of that hard Brexit. I mean, that's some scathing stuff right there. The protocol also offers clear economic advantages to our region, which is true. They have access to GB and the rest of the EU, without any tariffs or barriers. Them saying, whilst we share a desire to see the arrangements work as smoothly as possible, the way to achieve this is through engagement with the European Union. It's clear that solutions are available and deliverable, as have been delivered in the area of medicines, which is true. The EU changed their rules around third country medicines to kind of resolve the issue in Northern Ireland. But this must be on the basis of trust and the rule of law, rather than law breaking and unilateral abrogation of treaties. It is also deeply frustrating that you and your ministers continue to misrepresent our desire to see smooth implementation as an endorsement of your government's reckless action. So what happened, I think, was the government went to speak to all the different parties that were elected to Stormont, and obviously, all of these parties, I think, said there were issues with the protocol. There were some issues, right? But on the most part, it works. What the government did is they took the bit where the party said there are issues and said, look, all the parties agree there are issues, therefore we have to do something. Because that's what this government specialises in, taking bits that you've said out of context and then changing the entire meaning of what you've said. Finally, we strongly reject your continued claim to be protecting the Good Friday Agreement, as your government works to destabilise our region, to complain the protocol lacks cross-community consent while ignoring the fact that Brexit itself did not have cross-community consent, let alone the hard Brexit, which is absolutely true. That's something I think Naomi Long has said consistently, and so many others, including myself. Let alone the hard Brexit lacks even basic majority consent here, is a grotesque act of political distortion. Your claims to be acting to protect our institutions is as far much a fabrication as the Brexit campaign claims you made in 2016. I mean, this is scathing stuff here. The way to build trust and consent in our arrangement is to engage seriously with the EU on making them work, and to be honest with all parties about the inevitable consequences of leaving the single market and customs union, which is true that the government were very dishonest about the impact of leaving the single market and customs union would be to the United Kingdom. Sadly, trust and honesty are not words associated with you and your government. I mean, this is brutal stuff here. We will resolutely oppose this reckless bill and continue to promote post-Brexit solutions on the basis of trust and honesty. And these are the signatories of that. I think there's a few more. There's another page. I think there's another page there. There's 2 more lines, really, of people who have signed this. I mean, what more can you say apart? This was a very scathing letter from elected officials in the Northern Ireland Assembly in Stormont. And the majority of them are not happy with the British government, and they've made that very clear. So you have to give a lot of credit to these MLAs who've been very critical of Johnson. And, they are very, I think, nervous about the impact this could have on the Northern Irish economy. But, scathing stuff, really important. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.